Now, come on, you're the one who's upset. What's it about?
Yeah, I'm worried sick over you. I mean, something's happening. I don't know. You're changing, don't you realize it?
Well, I changed my hairstyle.
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
This sandwich tastes as dry as hell.
Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard. Folks, I am beyond excited to be beyond talking to Mark. Hello, Mark. You're beyond welcome.
Thank you. I'm beyond glad to be here. Beyond elated. Beyond evil.
Mm-hmm. We're beyond Beyonce at this point. Folks, this is Beyond Evil from 1980. Mark and I, we were trying to figure out who picked this, and I think this was a joint effort. Because, spoiler alert, this is a great film.
There's a reason it won 3 Oscars. I mean...
Whoa! That was not in the trivia. Okay.
I figure if I put it out there, it's going to make it a reality.
They'll get the retroactive Oscars.
Exactly.
They're beyond overdue, let me tell you.
Oh, yes. This is going to go on for a while.
Yes, let's just pun ourselves to death here. Yeah. So, director Herb Fried brought us this beauty. He was the mastermind behind, what was it, Graduation Day and Haunts, which are both fine films. Writers Paul Ross and good old Herb Fried and David Bown. David Bown, I believe, was also producer on this, maybe? Did he Bown? Was he one of the Bowners? I can't believe I said that.
Did you know that Mr. Fried was an ex-rabbi?
What?
I was watching the extras on this, and yeah, he was a former rabbi.
Wow.
Yeah. You can go on. That's all I want to say. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that's a career change.
I'll let you sit with that for a little bit.
Man, processing. I think David Bown, as a producer, he also helped bring the world the mighty Graduation Day. I have found a trailer for this bad boy. I'm going to drop this right here. Enjoy the trailer for The Beyond, starring Katrina McCall and David Warbeck. Just kidding. It's Beyond Evil.
You
all right.
Scared me.
You're like, wait, what did I take notes of?
Oh, no.
Beyond Evil is a terrifying journey beyond life,
You die!
beyond death, beyond evil.
You need that house like a hole in the head.
It's a little goodwill.
For more than 2 centuries, the evil within Casa Fortuna lay dormant.
What he means is the place is supposed to be haunted. It's all a legend.
Everyone on the island knows. Alma Martine lives.
It's changing, don't you realize it?
What strange force possessed the husband, John Saxon?
I can't fight anymore.
The wife, Linda Day George.
I want my wife back. I don't care what it takes.
The lover, Michael Dante.
Leave that place now, before it's too late.
As long as your wife remains within her reach, she's in danger of contamination, possession.
beyond evil will scare the hell out of you.
I was going to read the VHS tape, the VHS plot synopsis on the back of the old Video Treasures, but it is 4 paragraphs long. I'm not going there. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat and read from IMDb. Some kind soul has written one sentence. An architect and his wife move into a colonial mansion where the demonic presence of the original owner's wife takes residence. I like that.
There you go.
Good. That's all you need. I don't know if you know this, Mark, but when I read these things, I try to read them so that people listening can't understand what the plot is. I read them as badly as possible. So I try to make it like an abstraction kind of thing. I go beyond.
You do. Yes, you go beyond, above and beyond what's required.
I'm well below beyond at this point. We're going to spoil this movie. Promise. I can't recommend it enough, especially if you can find this thing cheap. I have no idea if this is one of those ones that Vinegar Syndrome has phased out yet or not. I'm hoping. Can you still go beyond evil in this world? Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, nobody's buying this. $16. Go for it, everybody.
I know what Linda Day's going to get for her birthday from me.
Yes. Oh. She just throws it on the pile with the rest of them.
Oh, Linda.
So many of these. So in the cast, this cast is phenomenal. We've got John Saxon, who, no shame here, I am man-crushing. Always have had a man-crush on John Saxon, but he is fucking ripped in this movie.
He's shirtless John Saxon in this film.
I can't believe they could find a shirt that could contain him even that long.
No, yeah.
There's a moment in this movie, folks, where he almost beats the shit out of somebody, and
yes,
my brain, my alarm bells sort of going off in my brain, like, he trained with Bruce Lee. Everyone get out of there. Like, he could kill this building, much less you and your puny ass. He looks phenomenal in this movie. Oh my God.
I didn't expect that. I'll be honest with you. Like, I didn't expect, like, I knew he was in shape, but I didn't expect that. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, there's John Saxon.
It's like an Easter egg for the viewers who are like,
it is. John Sexy Saxon is what I call him.
John Saxon. That's beyond sexy. It's great. All I can think about now is his performance in My Mom's a Werewolf.
Oh, yes.
Now that's a Blu-ray I want right there. What a magical piece of cinema. Next up is, of course, the old bastard herself, Linda Day George. 2 years before she would scream bastard one too many times in Pieces. Right before... Was she in Graduation Day as well?
I know her husband was, but I don't believe she was.
Yeah, good old Christopher George, gone way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Linda Day George so much. Oh, I'm thinking of Mortuary. She's in. Yeah,
she was in same year, I believe. It's Pieces. Man. Sorry, it's Pieces, not as this one.
What a masterpiece that is as well. She's just so fun in everything she does. Lietta and I were having trouble with her makeup in this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
There's one where her face is like white.
Yes. Lietta thought it might have been a cosmetic touch-up, but I just assumed that it's hot, and she was smiling a lot, and she just sweat off her smile lines. That's what I'm thinking, because she's got some like serious smile lines.
Yeah, I chalked it up to witch possession.
Hey, you can only go beyond the makeup chair so many steps. I don't know. We got, she plays, they're married in this movie, Larry Andrews and Barbara Andrews. Yeah, we'll get into their wonderful, wonderful plot here. They're being led astray somewhat by Michael Dante, who plays Del Giorgio, which I thought his name was something Del Giorgio. I didn't realize that Del was the first name until quite far into the movie. But this guy is quite interesting. He was in an Elvis movie that I like called Kid Galahad.
See, I loved him from Willard. I loved Willard.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Kid Creole.
Oh.
My bad. God, I haven't seen Willard in 1,000 years. Is he like a villain in that?
I just remember he was in it. Actually, this is horrible, but like I remember crushing on Ernest Borgnine as a kid. I don't know.
Hey, he's a big personality.
I guess so.
I always think about him
Yeah.
on that talk show. Do you remember him on that talk show? And they were talking about how he stayed young so long, and he whispers, yells into the guy's ear, "It's because I masturbate a lot."
Oh, no, Ernest Borgnine said this?
He literally said it on live TV.
I may need to stop for a moment for a cigarette. Oh, no, I did not know this ever. But yeah, he was in Willard. Let's get back on track with the rap movie. Yeah, he was in Willard.
Oh yeah, so Del Giorgio, he's our shifty guy here, doing some deals. Next up, we have someone named Mario Milano as Dr. Frank Albanos. This guy is something else. I don't think I've ever seen the other movies he did.
But, okay, now, hear me out. Did he not look like kind of sexy Jerry Stiller?
I will absolutely agree with you. That's an excellent...
Ben Stiller's dad. Because it took me forever, and halfway through the movie, I screamed to Walter, "Jerry Stiller!"
Is that your safe word?
Yeah. It kind of shuts everything down, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I get you. Next up, we have the ghostly presence of Alma Martin, which is Lietta's grandmother's name was Alma.
I love that name, actually.
It's a cool name.
Wait a minute. I think someone in Walter's family was an Alma, too, I believe.
What? She's played by Janice Lind. And Janice Lind really found her TV show. She was in a lot of shows, but she only ever did like one episode, except for Another World. She was on that for 33 episodes, but she just seems like a very soap opera-y type of person. So I was surprised that, she wasn't on One Life to Live for 700 episodes or something like that. But she's great, looking mean in this movie. We got Dr. Sullivan, who's a quote-unquote healer, self-described healer. This is David Opatoshu.
Good for you.
I am probably butchering that. But yeah, freaking movies and TV. But what about horror? Let's see.
I didn't find
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, like TV shows and stuff. Like, because I thought I knew him, but then I went back and looked. I'm like, no, I don't really. He's got that face.
Yep. But was he ever on Murder, She Wrote? That's what we really want to know. Anyway, so he's our healer. He's going to reach into some people and take out their guts. Those are the primary people in the cast.
Can I mention one more person?
Please, because I'm losing it.
So, Alma has a no good husband, Esteban, and that's Zito Kazan.
Okay, now he's got the mustache in the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I know it because as a child, there were three things that terrified me: the Bermuda Triangle, killer bees, and Bigfoot. And and quicksand, I got to throw in that.
Oh, of course.
But he was in a TV movie called Satan's Triangle that I remember terrifying me. So I want to throw that out there because that actor
I'm trying to remember if I saw that. I was on a TV binge of watching like supernatural / like weird phenomena type of movies. So I watched like Overlords of the UFO, or I can't remember the name of that one. But anyway, okay. He was in that werewolf TV series,
which I can't find anywhere. I want that so bad.
I remember when that premiered. I thought that was so good. I was all when that came out. That was great stuff.
I'm a big werewolf guy.
Talking about mixed blessings, about getting old TV shows on DVD finally. We were talking about Tales from the Dark Side. Have you seen... What'd you say?
Sorry.
Hey, we've watched that Halloween episode of Facts of Life a lot.
With Claire when she gets Dippity Dude?
I don't remember the Dippity Dude.
Oh, okay.
This was the one where they thought Mrs. Garrett was a cannibal and was feeding people human meat in her sausages.
Oh,
that's great. That's a great episode. No, I grew up watching that show, so I'm surprised I don't remember the Dippity Dude.
It's where they turn Blair around, her hair is like real big, and someone screams, "Oh no, she's been Dippity Dude."
No, we're talking about how the Tales from the Dark Side DVD set is unwatchable.
Yeah, some of those are really bad.
Brutal. I never thought that downloading people's VHS tapes off of Internet Archive would be preferable to an actual set. So yeah, we're gonna jump into this plot. You know, here's the thing about this movie: we can't do the whole movie because every scene has something fun in it. I managed to get this down to like 13 or 14 key elements here, and I'm still leaving stuff out. So.
Yep. And some of the plot really just goes nowhere.
Yep.
Like there's stuff they introduced that's like, no, we're done.
Yes. This is a Troma Team release. This is one of their, not a Troma Team production, but one that they distributed. So they've got that forever in the Beyond Evil lineage. They'll always have Troma Team. Although this was filmed on MGM lots, so who knows. We get a nice opening with what I call Afro Satan or Kabuki Kiss makeup credits. We have some fire spinning and some like blades and flying around and just guys looking really, for lack of a better term, like from the islands, like some kind of island nation somewhere.
It's supposed to be Hawaii, isn't it?
But they never went anywhere near Hawaii for this movie. This is all in California, all of it.
Yeah.
I love it. And they also try to make it feel like a third world thing too, because there's always this impression that American money goes really far here. but it's supposed to be Hawaii. Okay.
Doesn't it feel like a Philippine horror film?
Yes, that's what I thought they were going for.
Yeah, it totally feels like that.
Brilliant. So we have a couple getting married in this strange island nation, and they are the wife is very coy, maybe a little too coy. She's playing fun games with her new hubby, and they get separated, and she goes to this creepy old mansion where a mean old white woman stares at her from the window. And what happens when this occurs?
So she sees what I immediately thought was Betty Davis, but no, they couldn't afford Betty Davis. But there's this woman looking out the window, and then instead of like departing the premises, the woman stands there, frozen in fear, as a column falls towards her and then pins her arm to the ground on her wedding day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, a stone pillar on your arm, that arm is not broken. That arm is gone. She gets rescued by our healer guy, and he just stares at the house like, you son of a bitch in house, I'm going to get you. And then we cut to Linda Day George and Jock Saxon, whoever he is, showing up at the airport, meeting up with their pal, Del Giorgio, and I think this is where they talk about Barbara like she's not there. Is this right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so first her hair looks amazing because it's all curly, and then she's wearing that leopard thing. But real quick, okay. Yeah. So then they're driving back to like their hotel, and so we've got to understand. So John and Del are business partners.
Right.
Del was formerly married to Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
So Del's driving, John's shotgun, and Barbara's in back. But for all intents and purposes, they either think that she's dead or deaf, or she's like the wind is too loud with the open window, because they're just discussing her like she doesn't even exist right there in the front seat, like she can't hear in the back seat.
Right.
It's pretty horrible, I think.
Their pal Del is supposed to be getting them an apartment while John Saxon is working on his construction project, but the apartment, quote unquote, isn't ready, so they go to this hotel, and we meet Dr. Albano, who rescues Barbara's bag for her. And
Which is leopard print that matches everything else.
Yes, and he creepily hits on her, of course.
Yes.
And then we see him wheeling and dealing with somebody about this whole construction project, so we get the idea he's a shady character, too.
Well, the mustache doesn't help.
And he orders a Campari, which I think would, according to Lietta, would be disgusting if you just got a glass of Campari. I mean, you make a Campari with other ingredients in a drink. You don't just drink Campari. I'm sorry.
I think as long as you follow the drink with the hot buns that the guy's giving them with the fire twirling underneath his buttocks, I think it would go down just fine.
The local culture, I'll put that in quotes.
Yes.
You know, the local culture of downtown LA. The dude is spinning the fire and just like throwing it all over the place, holding it with his feet, holding it with the back of his thighs. So he is hairless. He's completely burned all the hair off his body. God bless him.
So it's a Polynesian themed restaurant, and anyone who's not like main cast members are pretty much Hispanic.
Yep.
But it's supposed to be Hawaii. Okay,
Oh
there you go, folks.
I love it. Do with that what you will, everybody.
Do with it what you will.
At dinner, Del has a girlfriend that's there with him, but he's making this big show of how he and Barbara used to be an item, and she just blurts out, "Well, he's dynamite in bed, if that's what you mean," referring to John Saxon, and just making the dinner completely shut down, completely awkward and weird. I love that part. Oh my God, so much fun.
Men love him, what can I tell you? He's got them all conned. Hope he's as good with you as he is on the job.
Well, he's dynamite in bed, if that's what you mean.
So finally he reveals to them there was no apartment. It's just this big, giant mansion that he's acquired them for nothing. Like, how did you do this? Did you steal this house from somebody? What's going on? The catch, of course, is that it's haunted. And, we all want to know who's the ghost who's haunting the place. And the name Alma Martine is thrown around. And Del's date immediately, does the sign of the cross.
Yes, the cross sign. And then drinks like a little shot. She takes a shot. She's so nervous.
So then we have a flashback. We hear a little bit of the story of how this couple killed each other in the house. But in the flashback, what do we see, Mark? What happens?
So Alma's kind of prim and proper. And basically, if you're at all familiar with Elizabeth Montgomery's portrayal of Lizzie Borden from the TV movie, she looks just like that. So get that in your head. So her first, and the marriage was arranged. So she comes out, and her first meeting of Esteban is with him and two other women, at his knees. So this is who you're married to. So it starts off very poorly. And he's married her really for access to land, isn't it? Basically for shipping purposes.
Yep.
And so she decides that really for love, that's why she wants to get married, what a weird concept. So she decides that if he's not going to love her, she's got to make a pact with Satan basically to get back at him. And it kind of goes downhill really quick from there.
And I wrote in my notes, Esteban, my dude, what are you wearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. So Esteban looks like Howie Mandel in a really bad production of The Pirates of Penzance. Just saying.
I couldn't even describe it. I was like, Buccaneer?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Pretty much.
So now we know the story of what happened, and of course, she kills him. She makes his neck all crunchy after he poisoned her. So
after he
poisoned
killed her.
Mm-hmm. She dies. She comes back from the grave. I love her look, her corpse look, which is just a little blood in her forehead and just screaming.
And Miss Lee press on nails, kind of.
Yes. She snaps his neck. And of course, the very first night, immediately Barbara is experiencing haunting things. There's a scratchy throat demon. But even weirder than a voice that would be talking to you in your house, a disembodied voice, there's a fucking statue of Satan.
Now, by that, he means a Pier 1 paper mache effigy of Satan that's at the top of the stairs.
Hey, I worked at Pier 1 Imports. I would have gotten a 10% discount. 10%.
10%.
That's all they gave us. I guess that was the only place. It was the only retail place I worked at that I didn't shoplift from.
Now, can I say something really quick?
Please.
Madonna owned that house for a while.
Yes, that is in the trivia. So
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The big mansion that they show in this movie was owned by Madonna very briefly, or maybe not briefly. I'm just wondering how long she lived there. That's crazy.
Until she got a stalker and she realized that people could jump the walls easily, and then that's when she sold it.
Gotta get out of there. You gotta get out of there. Speaking of amazing sequences of this movie. So the next morning, the locals are delivering the luggage of John Saxon and Linda Day George, and because they hear a noise downstairs, they look over on their balcony, and their fucking luggage is flying from the doorway. No one will set foot in the house. They're so scared. They are pitching their shit in through the front door. I laughed and laughed at that. What was the luggage that the monkey would destroy in the commercials? At Samsonite?
Samsonite.
Holy
Yes,
shit.
yeah.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard at that.
Now, do you think that's how they deliver it in Madonna's luggage as well?
Sean Penn made them do that.
Oh, no, God.
It was either Sean Penn throwing the luggage.
We at American Tourister know that when your suitcase is out of your hands, it's out of your hands. That's why American Tourister suitcases are reinforced with strong stainless steel frames and solid locks that won't spring open on contact. Sure, you may pay a little more in the beginning, but it'll sure pay in the end. American Tourister. It's not just how good it looks, it's how long it looks good.
Of course, we have some incidents of Supernatural where Barbara's just glowing green from the top of the stairs.
They love the green in this. They sure do.
And John Saxon's going, "Are you all right?" Like, she's fucking irradiated. But, and then, of course, the devil statue almost falls on Jock. I keep saying Jock.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that to me because I'll get that image of John.
In a jockstrap. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, don't do that.
Very sorry.
Don't do that.
So we get to see Dr. Frank and Dell having some words about this whole construction project. There was some funny stuff at the construction site where John Saxon is trying to explain why this building is not structurally sound, and he turns into a blah 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 moment. Like, oh, these supports aren't going to hold up anything. Oh yeah, let's go get drinks tonight.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Did you notice it was an earlier scene at the construction site where the smarmy doctor was there too?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice his Kiss boots?
Yes.
Those were amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, those were some platform shoes that man was rocking.
Dude.
He was going to rock and roll all night and party every day.
I wish people just bring those back. Like, everyone wants to be taller, right?
Oh my God, I'd be all over those things.
There's a line of dialogue. I did not write down the whole thing because I was running out of space to write it down. I'm going to look for this desperately. Larry, John Saxon, he wants to get romantic. And Barbara's like, no, not tonight. I don't want to be touched. And he's like, what's wrong? And she goes,
I just feel like the real me took off somewhere and left a yuck in its place.
Left a yuck in its place. Oh, I guess it's better than the Three Stooges leaving a nyuk, 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 nyuk.
Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk. Yeah.
Oh man, I really went beyond the joke on that one.
See, I was actually going to say that when you asked me how I was doing. I was going to say, well, the real meat took off someplace and left a yuck in its place.
Oh man, we were talking about Rocky Horror earlier. I'll say it's not easy having a good time. Even smiling makes my face ache. Then Dr. Sullivan, our healer pal, introduces himself to Larry, and he's like, "What you need is a healer." And then, what happens? There's something about Barbara being gassy. Can we talk about that?
Okay. There's a scene with her boots for no reason, and she's standing at the kitchen sink, and she's got her boots, and then from behind her comes this mist, which for all intents and purposes almost looks like she's passed visible gas. It comes up between her legs. I'm so sorry, but it really does, people. It's so strange. And then, so earlier, Alma, did the whole demon thing. She actually punctured her left hand with a knife, and then she got this, A for awful, I think.
Yeah. No,
Not
it's for Alma. It's for Alma.
Yeah. So then Barbara does the same thing at the sink after she's been flatulent. And then, John comes in and asks if she's okay. But she isn't. She's feeling yuck.
Yep. What a yuck.
Yeah.
So she goes to the hospital. He takes her to the hospital. And the doctor, Dr. Frank, is on the case. And he's trying to give her a prescription. And she literally laughs in his face. Because she doesn't believe in medicine.
Or math.
Or math.
Or math. Yeah. Or that birds can really fly.
I'm so scared. If she does that, birds are fake, I'm out of here. I can't deal with that shit.
Or a good makeup artist, apparently.
So she definitely fired her frickin' stylist after this movie. Later, we have Dr. Frank making creepy house calls, and a little bit of car trouble for Dr. Frank, where he's driving down the street and Barbara puts the whammy on his car and the doors fly off.
And the hood.
And it does a complete 180 spin out thing. And then as it's going off a cliff, it fucking explodes. Oh, it's so good. Oh.
But before this, he does warn her not to go to the crypt because it's a grisly place to go, which, of course, immediately she heads there.
What a great line. I love that line.
Yeah.
Oh, it's grisly.
Grisly. Now, if it was a Grizzly Adams place to go, I would be there.
Hey. Then you got to use the fire to burn all the hair off. So that's a lot of hair on Grizzly Adams.
A hairless Dan Haggerty.
We wouldn't know who he was. We wouldn't know
who are you? Ben, come over here. And identify this man, Ben. Gentle Ben.
Larry's very worried. John Saxon, I've called him John Saxon for like the first half hour. Now I'm just calling him Larry because that's his character's name. He goes to the hospital to get the test results because he's really worried about Barbara. And he throws a freaking tantrum at the hospital where he just chews out this poor woman behind the desk. But there was no tests ever taken. Dr. Albanos is a freaking liar. And he roughs up a couple of orderlies, and I'm terrified for them.
It came out of nowhere. Like, that punch just came out of nowhere. Like, I think I left into Walt's lap. It scared me to death.
Dr. Sullivan shows off his healing magic for Larry. He's pulling a freaking tumor out of a lady. And Larry is not immediately like, you're a fraud. Like, I remember when I was a kid watching a special about how these people who pretend to do surgery, mystical surgeries, are frauds, and they tuck little pieces of meat in like in their hand, like in a little like pouch, pretend to pull out a tumor from people with fake blood.
But I knew this was real because her phone latex was so convincing with that nail.
Right. Hey, if it's in a movie, it's real.
It's real. Yeah. No, that's funny you brought that up because we were talking about the same thing. That totally reminded me of that.
Yep. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The cultural knowledge that we bring to this show, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
that was big among Hawaiian tribes at the time.
Yeah.
And Polynesian tribes and Hispanic tribes. And
I want it to be real. Get this tumor out of me. So later, I did not write any of this down. This is just my favorite sequence in the movie where Larry goes home and Barbara comes in with a black mask on.
Yes.
It's a thermal mask she's wearing for her face. And I wrote in my notes, this entire conversation is crazy. I can't even process anything that's happening. It's just a wall of an exchange that is just so great. It's about her being crazy and getting weirder and weirder and weirder as the movie goes on. But it's just, I love it. After this, we have a little construction site. Whoopsie. What happens at the old building here?
Well, now, okay, so there's a couple of things I need to talk about. One of them is that Del refuses to wear a hard hat, and he's their boss. And he's just roaming around this construction site without a hard hat on, which I find disturbing. Okay, but anyway, I guess more importantly is that the demonic presence has decided that it needs Larry out of the way.
Yeah.
So it activates this crane with all this like scaffolding and stuff on it to basically kill Larry. But instead, fortunately, it kills like an expendable construction worker who doesn't really matter.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So that he's just. But now the effect was pretty cool because at first I'm like, they just killed someone because he really was expendable. It looked pretty good. But Del saves John. How long do you want me to go on? Because there's a lot about this that I find really strange.
Oh, please. Let's hear it.
So Del pushes John out of the way, and then John says that the power lines aren't working, which is important because he's worried that if Barbara finds out there was an accident, she's going to think it's John.
Yes, exactly.
But the power lines aren't working, but somehow she's going to find out.
Right.
I don't know. Okay, so they go back into to Del's office and have a drink on the work site.
Yes.
So there's alcohol on the work site. So then John says, hey, Dell, why don't you go back to my house with my wife, who was your ex-wife, and let her know I'm okay. I'm going to stay here and work now that I've had an alcoholic beverage. But you do this for me, okay? That's what I wanted to talk about. Now I'm done.
No, it's fine. And I think in that conversation is when Dell blames women.
Oh, yeah.
For all the problems in the world.
Dell is a piece of work, people. Yeah. Yeah, Dell's something else.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes I'm thinking, has Dell seen John Saxon with his shirt off? And does he want Barbara out of the picture to have John Saxon Larry to himself?
Man.
Because he seems like he really wants Barbara out of the picture.
Oh, man. I have an uncle who reminds me of Dell, and not in a good way. I have like a sleazy uncle who kind of reminds me of Dell. I love it. Dell goes back to let Barbara know that everything's okay, and it's immediately weird. She's acting very unlike herself, just being flirty with him, and everything is very weird. Sure enough, they start kissing, but she's way too needy. She's way too into it and creeping him out, and she throws his ass over the ledge with her psychic powers, or just pushes him, where his body unceremoniously will be like in a ravine for the rest of the movie.
I think you're downplaying her green starburst eyes, though.
Yes, that is a key feature. If you look up this movie anywhere, you will see laser eyes, like glowing green eyes and laser eyes.
So, Richard, did he walk there on foot? Because where's his car?
Maybe her psychic powers drove it to an empty parking lot. I can't believe you thought of that. It's awesome.
Okay. So real quick, can I interject something?
Please.
Because a little earlier on, we see that her wedding ring finger is getting swollen.
Yeah, I was just going into that.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, my God. So
it disturbs me.
It looks a little irritated at first. And I'm like, that's disgusting. Makeup team, you're doing good. But then it gets worse and worse and worse until her finger looks like the monster's finger from The Creeping Flesh with Peter Cushing. That's so disgusting. It looks like you would just throw up if you touched anything because the pain would be so intense. Oh.
Her nail looks like it's going to pop off
Yes.
from the pressure. It's disgusting. Yes. And you'd have to cut the wedding band off. Like, sliding it off is no longer an option.
Yes, I won't go into details, but I had an infected fingernail once. Just the tip of my fingernail.
Oh.
And it hurt so bad. If I put my hand on anything, touched anything, I would start crying. It hurt so bad. And it was just a hangnail. It was just a hangnail. And I was such a goofball as a teenager, I didn't know how to deal with it until it was hurting me to the point where I was like crying. I don't know how I'm alive sometimes. I'm such a... So yes, her ring finger's looking gnarly as shit.
It just gets worse. And kudos to whoever did the special effects on that because it was so disturbing.
Yep. So Larry, John Saxon guy, he has lost faith in hospitals because of the incident. So he takes Barbara to the healer, and this goes great. What happens when they go see the healer?
So, okay, you bring, not on Larry's part, but the healer's already said that he thinks there's something wrong with Barbara.
Yep.
So I'm cool with Larry doing this, but what was the healer thinking? So he's doing another one of his operations on a younger girl, and of course it goes horribly wrong because there's a witch watching, and the girl dies on the table. And then the healer looks like shocked that this was happening. I'm like, what were you thinking the outcome was going to be, sir? And then she storms off, and she's upset.
Yeah.
So Barbara storms off because she doesn't have faith in healers.
So much drama.
Yeah, or the internet. She doesn't have faith in the internet.
Yeah, she needs some supplements.
Yeah, she needs something because she has faith in nothing.
My favorite part here is when the healer was working on the one lady, he pulled a little tumor out. When Barbara fucks up his surgery, like totally blows it for him. An entire organ is trying to fly out of this poor little girl that he's working on. Oh, it's so funny.
Yes.
Later, we find Dell's body. The police find Dell's body, and they're vaguely suspicious of Larry and Barbara. Like, what happened here? What is he doing at the bottom of the ravine just outside your mansion? And then the movie breaks for a moment. We have one of the weirdest editing kerfluffles that's ever happened, where Liette and I kept going back to watch this editing nonsense. So John Saxon is like talking to the healer, and then he's leaving, and they have a stunt double, a not John Saxon, in his Jeep driving around the streets of LA, aka Hawaii. And it cuts back to he and the healer talking in a different location.
Yes.
And I'm like, whoa, what are we doing? It is awesome. It is so awesome. There must have been some shenanigans. I know there was a little bit in the extras about one of the master copies of the film getting destroyed in an editing machine.
Or was it Alma?
It was Alma. This film was cursed.
I think so.
So one of the master copies of the film, at MGM, they were running it through a winder, and the little spindles that hold the film in place weren't threaded correctly, and it just chewed up the film. So one of the reasons the movie looks the way it looks is they had to make it the whole movie from like a not color corrected copy.
Interesting.
So this movie was supposed to be really bright and colorful, like even more bright and colorful than it is.
Oh, interesting.
And that cost them some distribution deals because the movie didn't look very good. The actual print they were sending to distributors didn't look very good. That was from the producer interview, I think.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, we got a big showdown. What happens in this showdown? I mean, it's completely bonkers.
I like when Larry comes home and she's at the top of the stairs looking like Elizabeth Montgomery from Lizzie Borden.
Right.
And she's like, help me. And then just disappears right in front of his eyes. But he's like nonplussed by any of this. He's like, oh, I gotcha. Like this happens all the time. It's just part of being married.
That's just the way she is.
So that happens, and then there's so much green, like they do the green reverse.
Oh, yes.
And you get like green, like laser beams shooting and everything. And then she gets you get the man voice kind of coming from the witch. Yeah. Yeah. Well, also the healers come back with Larry as well.
Yep.
In tow, correct? Yeah. So the healers on the premises as well, and they decide that they have to destroy we kind of skipped something, didn't we?
I'm sure we did.
The healer's family member goes back.
Leah. Yep.
Yeah, and gets attacked by a electrical cord, which fries her and leaves nothing but beads and hair and dust. Which I love that.
That was the director's wife, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep, that was his wife at the time.
So it's like a Dario Argento with Dario Nicolodi thing here, huh? He's got a killer on camera again and again and again.
Man, are you mad at me?
But so they decide that they've got to destroy the crypts to rid the world of the witch.
Yes.
In doing so, I feel like I'm jumping around too much.
Don't worry about it. My notes have stopped completely already.
Okay,
I thought I was going to remember everything.
So in doing so, the witch turns basically to smoke once she's destroyed, right? And then she basically turns to like I put like a witch in the wind, and it just dust and she blows away. And you also can kind of see that it's a wig with the skeleton like disintegrating.
So cute.
And then they get that Satan overlap from before with the guy with the curly hair.
Yep.
But then they decide to leave, and I'm thinking, no, you've got the house to yourself now because the witch is, like, ding dong, the witch is dead. You can stay. But then they leave, which I'm like, but Richard, why? I don't understand why they wanted them in that house so badly to begin. Like, the doctor and Dell, like, it seemed like a purposeful that they wanted them in the house, and I don't understand why.
It's just baffling.
Okay, yeah, but that was beyond evil. And I don't feel like, I mean, no offense, but I really don't feel like we did it justice.
No, absolutely. I was just going to say, folks, we left out over half the movie to make sure this discussion wasn't a point-by-point thing. Because, I mean, it's just so... This is just such a freaking phenomenal experience to experience.
Well, oh, also, real quick,
yeah.
Once the Doctor dies, there's no more mention of him. Like, no one cares that he's disappeared from this earth, whatever.
Nope. Just goes flying through a wall. Yeah.
So many unanswered questions that it's just like, oh, well, never mind.
Who needs it? Who needs it? So, yeah, so both Doctors are just destroyed. So, yeah, Dr. Albanos blown up. Dr. Solomon goes flying through a wall, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the real get for this movie is Pino Donaggio.
Oh, yeah.
Who does the score. And there's a couple moments where I'm like, I think Pino was, I'm going to make anything. Because there's some really weird cues in this frickin' movie. I mean, I like the music, but there's moments where I'm like, this was shot by somebody named Ken Plotton or Plotin, who worked on Hide and Go Shriek. Which,
I love that movie.
Wow. I still,
something, isn't it?
I thought that's an experience. That movie's beyond a slasher. Edited by Richard E. Westover. I'm wondering if he wanted to take his name off of this one. But yes, what did he edit? He edited some pornography. Good for him. He edited a movie that a lot of the people who worked on this worked on, Tomboy.
I was going to ask you if you've seen Tomboy.
I have seen the follow-up. The follow-up. Are they made by the same person?
Well, Herb Free directed it.
Okay, I'm getting... Yeah, because there's a movie that's in this same guy's credits the following year called My Chauffeur.
Oh, yeah, with the girl from April Fool's Day.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that movie. That movie was very weird to watch when I was 10 with my parents.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
but I've never seen Tomboy.
It's got Betsy Russell in it, who was from Cheerleader Camp. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I need to catch up on that, and I need to watch My Chauffeur again. Confront my childhood fears.
That's going to drive me crazy. What is the actress's name? I love her. She just kind of disappeared. I love that actress. Not in a call HR way, just like she's really cool.
Deborah Foreman?
Yes, Deborah Foreman.
Yeah.
I really like Deborah Foreman. Yeah.
She's amazing. I forgot she was in Valley Girl.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen that in forever. Let's see.
Is E.G. Daly in Valley Girl?
She is.
I don't like, because I love E.G. Daly, and I don't like that I feel like her nude scene was just, not really necessary, and that she was forced into it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it served the plot. I mean, not the nude scene, but her sex scene served the plot. But she didn't need to be naked for that shit.
No, I love E.G. Daly.
She's amazing. Trivia-wise... we talked about Madonna's house.
But did we talk about it enough?
we went beyond all the details. So director Herb Fried apparently got along so well with Linda Day George that he cast her husband, Christopher George, in Graduation Day, which I thought was very sweet. And other than what I learned about the film nearly getting completely destroyed by MGM, did you have any other trivia about this little wonder?
I do not. I apologize, but I couldn't find a lot on it. And I do like how, I'm just going to say it, I think you're scared, and that's why you're still sticking to the MGM story, because you know it was Alma. I'm just going to say it. She was destroying the film. I'm not afraid of her. I'm putting that out there.
You should be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't hide it. Flash 'em your copper tone tan. Flash 'em the dark tan. Flash 'em the fast tan. Flash 'em a copper tone tan.
Get the tan you've gotta flash with Coppertone lotion, oil, new Light Formula oil. Then
flash 'em the dark tan. Flash 'em the fast tan. Flash 'em a Coppertone tan. Flash 'em a Coppertone tan.
This movie. So Mark, I feel like I know how you feel about this movie. Tell me about your You're beyond passion.
It's shirtless John Saxon.
Mhm.
It's Linda Day George at her finest. I'm not joking when I say this. There are some of her line deliveries that it's so sincere. Like when she's like, if this really is a haunted house, I need to know. And I'm like, yes, she does need to know. Don't hold out on her. You got smarmy Jerry Stiller. I'm telling you, the green reverse, the witches Miss Lee press on nails. It's got it all. Your Polynesian dancers pretending to be Hawaiian who really aren't. It's incredible. See this, people. You need this in your life. It's beyond entertaining.
I love it. It exceeds beyondness. This is one I had never heard of before the Blu-ray came out. Bought it sight unseen, and I've loved it ever since. It's just so fun. I want to show this to people. This is a party movie right here, big time. Fashions are epic. Everyone is tacky, either in Hawaiian shirts or in white suits, and the big tall heels on all the men's shoes. The story is very simple. Simple as in the setup is simple. The plot is insanely complicated. The effects are fun. The dialogue, every line is a riot. I remember thinking this felt like a TV movie the first time I saw it.
Totally.
Where the mild cursing, nudity, and some of the gore, which is never explicit, but there's some gore in this movie. Mm-hmm. That one girl gets her head split open in that dance.
The nude girl, which is the only nudity in the movie, which is like silhouetted. Yep.
So that's crazy. The Echo Azarok is the chant when Alma's doing her thing, which is
the chant. We didn't talk about that. The chants are amazing.
Like it's a Wiccan chant that they're actually like doing that. Leota went, what?
Yeah, it's amazing. The chants are amazing. I think one is Aiko.
Yeah. Let's get it all in there.
It's pretty cool, folks.
The only thing bad I could say about it is I wish they would gone back into the city, the Hawaiian city some more, just to mix it up. They spend a lot of time at the house and a lot of time outside the house. But I mean, that's me searching for something to nitpick about. I just love this so much. Oh my God. What a treat.
Whew.
We did
it's
it.
A gift. It's a gift.
We went way beyond what any other podcast would do for Beyond Evil, except I didn't watch all the extras. But and I always say this, when I finish a movie, I don't want to see it for another year. And everybody has clips of the movie in there to pad out the interviews. And I understand showing a small clip of an example when the person's talking about a specific scene. But I always feel bad for Blu-ray companies who are like, we can't just put a 5-minute interview. We have to make it a 15-minute spectacular with credits at the beginning and end, and all the clips from the movie mixed in. I'm like, no, you don't. Let's make it snappy here.
Well, sometimes they're like longer than the movie. Like you get a movie's documentary about the movie,
which I love when that happens. What was the movie? What is the one where it's the guy is trying to come to terms with the childhood trauma, and they have the big piece of wood. It's a wooden marionette. Is it The Fear? Was that what that one was? It's a 90s movie or an 80s movie?
Is that the one that Vinegar Syndrome put out?
Yeah.
And the cover's like wooden, right?
Yeah,
it's got the face.
1995, yes. The Fear.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that DVD or that Blu-ray has a feature-length making of that movie. It's crazy. Because that was a passion project, apparently.
Yeah, some of those things are. Yeah.
Yep, that was Vinegar Syndrome. I like the sequel. Okay, it's an hour-long documentary, but still, it's an hour.
Yeah.
Plus commentary tracks, multiple commentary tracks. The sequel takes place on Halloween, and it's a really wonderfully half-assed Halloween spooky movie. So I recommend the sequel.
What's it called?
It's The Fear, and then the sequel's called like The Fear Halloween Night.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that existed.
It's
I
it's
feel
called.
like-
Okay, it's got two titles: The Fear: Resurrection, and The Fear 2: Halloween Night. So you got your choice. And the Fear, I think the original is actually good. I don't love the characters in it. They're a little like strident for me.
Mhm.
They're all dicks. But they bumped that up with the sequel, and everyone's just preposterously mean to each other, and everyone's unlikable, and it just happens to be Halloween, and they're dressed like their fears, and then they get killed off by their
Well,
worst
that's kind
fears.
of a fun premise.
You should check it out. It's real
Huh.
stupid. It's one of, you might have a reverse good time with it. But Mark, before I let you escape this well, I mean, I know we've gone beyond. I can't even think of any more puns. What is a recently seen by you movie that you love? It can be any genre. It can be an old favorite or a new to you watch. What do you got?
So I'm going to bring to the table The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch.
Oh my God! Yes.
It's from 1968. Directed by Noriaki Yuasa. I hope.
Yes.
But it's like a fairy tale, like gone horribly wrong. It's super creepy. The visuals are like amazing. Actress, the little girl. Well, but I'm sorry. So basically, I don't want to spoil it. It's basically a orphan who gets reunited with her birth parents, and it's not a dream come true. It is amazing. It was based on. I haven't read it. It was based on a manga, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the manga, but the movie is fantastic. It's Arrow Videos has put it out. I highly recommend it. It is so visually, it's just stunning. I love this movie. I would make people watch this. Like I would want to sit down and watch this with people just for their reactions.
Yes, 1000%.
I love it.
I saw that months before the Blu-ray came out. I had found a download and it just blew me away completely. And then out of nowhere that they announced that Blu-ray, I was so excited. And if it is one of the best representations of 60s manga adaptation. Like a lot of the manga I read is from the 80s and the 90s and some modern stuff. It took me a while to get into the old 60s stuff and the 70s stuff because it was so, it felt really, for lack of a better term, like basic, kind of like I was like, ooh, the very broad emotions, very big. Everything's very like shock panels, you know, like where they turn around and see something scary and the whole panel's their face, their mouth just making an O circle, you know. But I started to love the tone of those 60s manga.
Mm-hmm.
And Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch nails it. Nails it. All of the important details you need are just left out. All you need is the premise and you're going. You don't need any stuff to explain anything. And they keep throwing more and more weird red herrings at you and it gets bigger and more complicated. Holy shit, that movie's great.
Yeah.
I want to say it was the same year as another absolute masterpiece from Japan. Let me see if it was the same year. Yes, 1968 was a magical time. The Living Skeleton.
This I don't know.
Okay, directed by Hiroki Matsuno. This is the guy who did... Oh no, he didn't do very much. Never mind. No connection. Other than the same year, and another black and white, great Japanese horror film.
This looks amazing, Richard.
Criterion put that out in a box set called When Horror Came to Shochiku. Yep, When Horror Came to Shochiku, and it was, I hope it's still available for sale. Yep, you can still add it to cart, apparently.
Nice.
It's got The X from Outer Space, it's got Gokei, Body Snatcher from Hell, The Genocide, which is a Killer Bugs movie.
Ooh.
And then The Living Skeleton is an absolute banger. So
that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry to hijack that.
No.
I heartily recommend Snake Girl. It's just so fun and feverish and wild.
And I love the little girl. Like, she makes the movie because she's just so sweet.
Yep. She's grade A awesome. She just has that energy and they let her run with it. So she's precocious to the point of like, why does she need foster parents? Just give her a freaking apartment. She's going to live her life.
She do what she wants.
Oh yeah. So I have been, aside from taking notes for movies for this show, I have been filling my days with television instead of movies. But in my defense, I've been watching feature-length episodes of one of my favorite shows of all time. Could almost be my favorite show of all time, which is Inspector Morse, which is a British mystery show, started in the 80s and then wrapped up in the early 2000s. The cast had kind of moved on, but they came back and did specials, which is why if you look on IMDb, it looks like the show was on for like 35 years. But they just made some extra bonus episodes and then that was it. But the show was so popular, it spawned 2 series. It had a sequel series and a prequel series. And it's all British as hell. And Morse is a opera-loving, literature-loving police detective who's very grouchy and shitty to everyone, and his long-suffering sergeant. And it's just, I love this show so much, I can't even.
So now how are you accessing this, Richard?
So there is I have the DVD set, but
okay.
It's also streaming on BritBox, because of course Liette and I are fake British people. And we have BritBox and Acorn and PBS and all these. The only thing we don't have is BBC America. The shows that they were trying to make that were like crossovers, we just didn't like them. We're like, nah, we'll just watch British shit. So I have seen 30 episodes, 25 episodes. They're all an hour and 40 minutes a piece. It's a commitment to watch an episode. I have seen this entire series like 6, 7, or 8 times over again.
Oh, that says a lot about the series.
Yeah, it is my favorite.
Are they standalone? Like, could you just...
Yes.
Or do you need to... Okay.
They're all standalone. You kind of want to watch the first episode just to get the dynamic of how Inspector Morse met Sergeant Lewis, just to kind of set up things, but you can watch any episode after that. It doesn't really matter. It does build, though. Like, their relationship has ups and downs where they don't get along, and then they get along really well, and then some shit goes down, so you're not going to be confused. Like, it's just a detective story. But everybody who's anybody is in it. Lots of great, if you like British TV, you'll see all the faces you recognize showing up in there. Yeah.
Awesome. You threw me a curveball. I didn't think you were doing this.
Oh, man. I had a day to watch movies, and I was just having a crappy day, so I just was like, no, I'm going to watch Inspector Morse all day, and I did just that. And Lietta is a bigger fan of the sequel series, Inspector Lewis, where the same actor who plays the sergeant, he's all grown up and has his own... He steps into the role as the main detective of the show, and it's a great show, too. The prequel series is all right. I don't hate it or anything. It doesn't quite work for me. It's set in the 60s.
Okay.
And has a very, very different actor playing young Morse, which is fine. They replaced him, but they went in a different direction.
Okay.
And they definitely made him just almost a different character, but they set up all the building blocks of who he would become, as he gets more and more bitter and curmudgeonly.
I don't know what that's like.
Same. I'm not well on that road myself.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, but man, I think we did it.
I think we did too.
Another episode complete. Folks, thank you for listening. Mark, thank you for hanging out once again.
It was beyond awesome.
Oh, man. We will be definitely back talking about something we've barely scratched the surface of our list, so.
Spice World.
Stay tuned for Spice World. I've still never seen that.
Okay, we need to stop talking. And then you go watch it and I'll wait right here.
Spice up your life, everybody.
And slam your body down and wind it all around.
Bye.
Bye.
Folks, thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you'd like to write into the show, send an email to doomedmoviethon@gmail.com or hit us up at doomedmoviethon on Instagram or at doomedmoviethon on Twitter or at doomedmoviethon at Discord, or go to Hello This Is the Doomed Show on Facebook and message us there. If you want more Hello This Is the Doomed Show, go to doomedmoviethon.com and click the podcast button for the archive, or go to YouTube and look up Doomed Moviethon and you'll find the classic episodes of Hello, This Is the Doomed Show. And if that's still not enough, I have written some books, about my love of movies over on Amazon.com. Just look up Richard Glenn Schmidt and you'll find Giallo Meltdown, a Moviethon Diary, Giallo Meltdown 2, Cinema Somnambulist, or Doomed Moviethon, the book. Hello, This is the Doomed Show is a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network. Go to legionpodcast.com and check out the other great shows over there.